Hey guys, today we're going to do an unboxing and first time setup video of the Laser MMC B18 set-top box and media player. So we've got the device here and we're just going to go ahead and unpack it. Okay, so for the purposes of this video, all the accessories, I'm not going to unravel them and plug them in because I've already got a setup going here, but I will go through the accessories just to show you what's included. So first off, we have the device itself, and in the box we have got a remote control, a HDMI cable, and the power adapter, and just some batteries. So I'm just going to leave all that stuff in there, and because I've got spares of all that stuff, so I'll just but I will be using those exact accessories to do the setup, so there won't be any change. Okay, so first of all, we're going to plug the device in and get it going. So the power adapter into the back. A HDMI cable. So I really recommend using a HDMI cable for all your devices because you'll get a real superior quality signal. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug that in. And even though this device supports the Wi-Fi, wireless internet connection, I'm just going to be plugging in an Ethernet cable. It's just a little bit faster and more stable, just for the purposes of this video. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug that in. Now, because this device has got a set-top box functionality built in, I'm going to be plugging an aerial connection. Now for the aerial, you want to make sure it's an aerial connected to the roof of your house, not just a any old rabbit ears or an internal area antenna that you might have. Finally, now this cable is optional, but if you want to use this other port on the back, this will actually allow you to record one channel while watching another. Now we've got a separate video on that on our website here, so if you want to go ahead and check out that video, it'll show you what to do with that one. Okay, so now that that's all plugged in, as you can see here, that's on the main screen here, but for the purposes of you guys at home there, I've plugged the cable into one of the HDMI ports on this TV. So there's 4 on this TV. So I've gone ahead and used number 3. So at home, you probably want to use the source or the input button on your TV remote to toggle between your different HDMI ports. You know, so mine is obviously plugged into 3, so we're going to go ahead and use number 3. So that's the signal right there. Okay, so for the first time setup, first things first, we're going to go into the settings tab on the far right, and obviously you want to go in there if you're using wireless and search for a wireless signal. So because I've got an Ethernet cable plugged in, it's not coming up, so okay, so as soon as it detects your home Wi-Fi signal, just select that, type in the password, and away you go. So that's our wireless network, but we're not going to be using that for the time being. Okay. Now the next thing you want to be doing is going to the HDMI. Now you want to set up basically the highest resolution your TV can support. So because this TV supports 4K at 60 Hz, that's the option that we're going with. If you've got a TV that only does 50 Hz or 60 Hz 1080p, make sure you select those appropriate options. So 50 Hz is PAL, 60 Hz is NTSC. So back in the old days, we had TVs that did one or the other. Most of these newer TVs can do both 60 Hz and 50 Hz. So just make sure you consult your TV's user manual for those specs. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave ours on 4K. Now the next thing you want to do is the sound output. Okay, So a lot of apps like Netflix have trouble passing audio via HDMI pass-through. So we recommend you set to PCM. Now the difference between PCM and HDMI is PCM lets your device decode the signal and then send that signal to your TV. HDMI pass-through is useful if you've got like one of those high-end AV receivers and you just want the device to just pass the signal straight through without decoding it. So the signal will actually get decoded by your AV receiver, which probably has a superior sound chip built into it. So for those purposes, you'd be using HDMI pass-through. But for most people, you want to set it to PCM. Okay, so we'll leave it on PCM. Okay, so the next big thing with this one is the Google Play Store. Now, because this is a smart device, you want to download applications such as Netflix or Amazon or any of these applications you see here were actually downloaded from the Google Play Store. It just comes pre-installed on our device. So if there's any other apps that you have in mind, make sure you go in there and you either set up an account or use an existing account. So Google Play Store is free, so no problem setting up a new account. But we've already got one, and we're not going to be downloading any apps for this video, so we just go back. Okay. Now, the other thing is the media player. So here I've got a USB stick, and I'm just going to go ahead and plug that in to one of these 3 USB ports on the side of the device. Now, there are 2 media players. One's actually in the Smart Apps section. This XBMC, that's actually Kodi media player. But just to keep it simple, I'm just going to use this one here. Media player. Now, this backup is actually my USB stick. So as you can see, I've unplugged that. Goes away. Plug it back in. And it should pop back up. So that's that. So you just go into backup, sample videos, one of the folders that we've got video in. For example, we just play that. Allow. And that's that. The file should play. Okay. Simple. So if you've got movies and music on a device, or even photos, you can just go ahead and use that. Very simple. Okay, and finally we want to do the live TV, which is the other half of this device, which is the set-top box. So we're going to go ahead and tune this in. Okay, so we'll start the live TV function. So you're going to be prompted with this on a first time setup. So please scan. So just select yes. And you'll be presented with some options: auto scan, manual scan, etc. So we're just going to do an auto scan. Okay. So this bar is going to fill up as it gets to, as it starts programming on all the different radio, TV stations. Once it's actually full, I'll go ahead and show you a couple of other features like the EPG recording function, etc. So I'm just going to pause this video while it takes a while to complete, because it is about 5-10 minutes while it does the tuning feature. You want to make sure you leave the process to complete fully, because that's the only time it's actually going to save everything that it's done. Okay, so just going to go ahead and pause this video and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, here we are back at the device. As you can see, the progress bar is completed 100%. So we just want to press the OK button on your remote when that's done.
So the little things that you need to
so as you can see, it's all working there.
Now, if you want some money,
just turn the volume down. Okay, so another function that this device have is the electronic programming guide, which is this button here. So you will need a USB stick that's been formatted to FAT32 file system. So you want to plug that into the device, and that actually allows you to record your shows and stuff. So how to do that? You just press the EPG button and it'll come up with the specific programs. Okay, so just choose one, for example. Okay, so what's the time? So you want to get a start time that's obviously after the time that you're currently recording it. if you want to record something that's currently playing, you just press the record button while you're watching the show. That'll just start recording where you're at. Okay, so for the EPG, just want to select a program, press OK, and it'll come up with some information about the start and end time. Now you want to go down to this mode here and select PVR. So that means personal video recorder. So you want to set that, select yes, and that's done. So if you want to have a look at what's booked into your list, for example, I'll do another one. Okay, so as you can see here, there's a legend of what the colored buttons on your remote will do. So the book list, you can see here, these two are booked in for recording. So that's all done. Okay. Okay, what I was explaining earlier was okay, plug in a USB, show you how to record. So say you're watching something and you're like, oh, I like to look at that, and you just press the record button, and it'll just tell you how long you want to record for. So I'll just select 10 minutes and just select yes. And as you can see up here, it's started to record. Okay, so once you're finished recording, okay, press the return button. Okay, so PVR is recording. Please stop PVR recording. Yes. Okay, so now that stopped recording. So those few sections there that we recorded. So I'll go back to the main screen. Either press the home button to go back to this screen. Now from here, I'm just going to go over to the media player, like I showed you earlier. And what that's done, when I press the record button or the PVR function, it'll create a new folder on your USB stick. Okay, so I'll just select that, and as you can see here, that's what we recorded earlier. So very simple, easy to use, and the media player is where you go to watch all your recordings. Okay, now finally, the last thing, so I urge you guys to do is to get one of these mice. You can either use a wireless mouse, just plug the dongle into the side here, or a corded mouse, depending on where you're using it. So some apps like Netflix, for example, will require that you use a mouse to use the full functionality, because this remote is not actually able to go to some aspects of the menu. You'll find that that's the case with a lot of set-top boxes. All the buttons on the remote won't correspond directly to third-party apps. So for a lot of third-party apps, if you find that you're having trouble using certain features, or you want to get the most out of it, we really recommend you plug in a mouse into your device. Or in the case of something like this is an air mouse. So an air mouse normally comes with a dongle. So you plug the dongle in here, and you can still use it like a normal remote, but you'll have the cursor on the screen just like a mouse. So either get one of these or a mouse, and you should be good to go. And that concludes our video. Thanks, guys.